Now, something comes as creating a calculated column measure and calculation with and without filters. Okay. So what is that? Like creating calculated column measures, like you can use sum x, min x, max x. So sum, min, max, creating this calculated measures is something which we have done as a DAX query. You can create a calculated measure, you can create the calculated columns, you can filter out those data with those expression. Now this sum x is something which is sum of all the tables which you have. Max is finding the max out of the complete table and all of that. So then you can create a table visualization out of it where you can put all the data across, or you can have all the conditional formatting of data bars, URL, matrix, pie, whatever donut charts you want to create, a scatter plot, a waterfall chart, a tree, a bubble chart, or anything of that sort. In case of this, you can create a bubble chart as well as scatter plot in that case. Not this. Let's say I want to create a scatter plot. See, that's a scatter plot for me, or a line chart, like a bar and a line chart, or anything of that sort. In that way, an area chart. This is sort of a tree map that we have. Then an Azure map if you want to create. So obviously I don't have latitude and longitude, it will not create that. Then your gauge. So all of this. In fact, if you want to have a card or multi-row cards, then you will have that. You want to have a donut chart, you can have a donut chart as well. So that's how basically we create. You want to have a waterfall chart, that's a waterfall chart that we can create. So these are the different types of charts that we have in the Power BI that we can create. Now, this was about talking to the data charts. Now let's come on to a section which is called as hierarchies in Power BI. So before moving on to the next part where you can create maps and shapes and all, okay. So before that, because I told you about what is QA, what is visuals and all. So let's use this to not only go to the DAX, because we did about DAX and DAX tables, table FI columns, searches and everything in that string, like what is true, what is false. You can have a column whereas you contain the string or anything of that data sort or anything. Then we did that sort of a thing, wherein we can find out anything or we can do it. So mid, left, all we all did it, or maybe whenever we want to summarize a column. So we did that. Okay. Let's come to the portion of hierarchies in Power BI. That's a very important concept. Now, what are called as hierarchies? Hierarchies is nothing but a section of table wherein you mention about like what is the form of hierarchy is. Like you have a continuous section that okay, after this this will be coming, and after this section this will be coming. So basically a category, basically what we say as a hierarchy is need to be created. So basically what we say as in hierarchy in a definition and what we talk about hierarchy as a definition. So is a scorecard map, basically a functional tray of a thing wherein you can just like make it as a more pictorial way or as a more graphical way so that you can have the Power BI providing opportunities to the data set for further enhancing your report capabilities. For example, when I talk about a geographical region, obviously in that geographical region, you will have state, country, region, zip code, all of these stuff. So obviously these all stuffs or these all instances comes from a fact that you have a hierarchy created against it. So if so that's what we do. So that geographical or maybe any hierarchy, a date hierarchy or a geographical hierarchy or any type of hierarchy which you create will help you to drill down through your data. Now, how that basically happens? Let's say in this order table, if you see my order date, so order date is automatically a hierarchy which is itself created. So we don't like bother to create an hierarchy in Power BI. Power BI itself creates its own hierarchy by its. Whenever you feed a data in Power BI, whenever you bring a data in Power BI, then automatically it will help you to create an hierarchy by itself. And it's like whenever it will see a date, it will make that as a hierarchy. So if you open in that section, you will see a date hierarchy. So by default also you will see that, okay, a hierarchy has been created. But if let's say you want to create that, so that is also not a problem. You can just click on this and you can say create hierarchy. And obviously this will make a hierarchy for you. You have to wait for some time. Just right click on the column on which you want to make the hierarchy, and the hierarchy will be created for you. So see, it's working on it. So see, you have an order date hierarchy. So as I already have a hierarchy created, so I don't want it. Basically, I can just like remove this hierarchy for a fact. But I can show you over here. Oh, sorry, my bad. So you can see under the order hierarchy, you have order date, and here all the columns came up. So ideally, I already have hierarchies available in my data set. So I basically don't need that hierarchy. And if let's say you want to, in which ways you want to delete it, you can delete it from your model. So that's the hierarchy. I am not required of it because I have already created one hierarchy. So this is my order date hierarchy that is already available. So I just told you how we can create an hierarchy. You can click on the column for particularly for which you want to create the hierarchy, and based on that, the hierarchies will be created for you. Okay, so that's how we create a hierarchy. Now see over here, you have an order date. So here you have data hierarchy. So here, if you see, I have created year, month, quarter, and everything. So that's a date hierarchy which I have created. If you see, you can just simply bring that date hierarchy and year, month, quarters. These dates have been created. Now, if you see for this, where I have done a sales. So you can see product category hierarchy, and here you can see here you can see sales amount by product category. So if you see on the product category also, I have created one hierarchy over here, which is for the product category, where I have added in the product category, I have added the product category. Then you have product SKU and product name. So basically how you do that, once you create an hierarchy, inside that, if you want to add anything, you can just simply drag and drop that inside that hierarchy, and you can just simply remove that. Like you can delete this from the model, and if you want to add anything to the hierarchy, then while you create that hierarchy, you have that option to add it. Either you drag and drop that into the hierarchy, that is also creatable. So if you see over here for the product category, I've created a hierarchy. Now, as I've created a hierarchy, so I have a drill option. So if I click a drill down, see, it's moved to the, basically it moves me to the product category names over here. So that's a drill down, like I move to the product category name. Okay, if I just close it and I move to a expanded to one level, so here I'm able to see the product category SKUs. Now, if I expand it to more granular level, I'm able to see the product name and the sales effect. When I'm able to move it up, I'll drill it up. I'll get to the main question over here. Now over here also, I can do the same thing. This is completely a font of it. Or either you can do it like this way, that you can bring all the columns over here as well. Like there is two methods of basically, my question was there's two methods of basically doing or setting up an hierarchy. One is by creating an hierarchy. A simple way is to create an hierarchy. Pull just that column over here, just the product category hierarchy you pull, and you will get everything, the whatever hierarchies you have put under it. Or there is another way that you can bring a table and you can bring all these columns together, and then you can show the sum of sales. And on that sum of sales, you can just show the hierarchy. So both of them works in the same way. So if I drill it down through more, so obviously I'm going to get the product category and everything. Now, if I drill up and I go up, so it shows me those hierarchies as well. See, it gave me with the names and everything. And if I drill it more down, so it gives me more granular level of data where I have SAQs and product size and everything on that side. And when I want to drill it up, will again go up to this. So there are two methods by which you can create hierarchies in the table. One is by creating a hierarchy in the data model. That is one thing you have. And the second is one, you can have it by creating any of the data models or any product categories in that. Now there is something which is called as an except and a distinct. So except means if you want to accept those outputs from your data set. Okay, so there's a DAX function which is called as accept function in Power BI. A DAX has an accept function that if you want to accept these IDs. If, for example, if I want to include anything, I'll use an accept. And if I want to distinct anything, I'll use a distinct feature in that. Now, let's say if I want to generate a series or generate a cross join in the table, or I want to select or deselect anything. So then those filters or parameters can be used. So basically a parameter percentage option wherein you want to generate a series of the data which will help between 0 to 1 to 0.01. That consists of. So when you want to generate a continuous series of that, you can generate it by creating a new table expression. Okay. How you can do that? Let's see. Let's say I have the option of new table. That's the new table that is created. Let's say I give a parameter percentage and I say generate, sorry, not this one, generate series. So I have to give a, now if you see, it says a start value, which is 0. It says the end value, which should be 10. And I have to give an incremental by 1. And then enter it. So you will have this generate series that the values will get generated accordingly when you generate some series in your data set. Whatever data set you have and you want to generate a series or something of that sort, then you can generate it based on that. Okay. Now, if you want to select all, select except, or select no, basically selection of all versus select except versus select filters in it or any DAX filters or anything. So then you can use these filters option where you have the filters to select all, select or deselect anything. So you can add those filters and you can create it. Similarly, if you want to have a rank, Topn, dynamic Topn and numeric filters, you can do that. So let's say, let me go to a new sheet altogether. Now, from the product category, I'll bring the product prices. And I'll probably make it as a line chart. And I will sort it on the basis of product category. Yeah, that's look much better. So now here it says you want to see top 5 or something. So if you go to the modeling, you have an option of parameter, a numeric range or a field parameter. So if you select on the field, for these fields, you can create parameters. So from here, you have to add that for which one you have to create a parameter. Let's say I select product category and I create a parameter for that. Now it's creating a parameter for you. So let's see how it creates. Let's keep it and then we'll move it this side. Okay. Now just format it a bit. So let's say here, I'll just change it, or probably I'll make the product category, and let's say I'll also add the product SKUs. Maybe not product SKUs, maybe something very small, probably the product names. If I want to filter for this, so on the basis of product category, you can filter it out. Or let's say this time I don't want to basically enter for a new parameter. I want to have a numeric range where I will have a whole number, and I'll have a minimum value of 0, maximum value of 20. It will increment by 5, and that's the default value will be. Default value will also be 2. So I'll create that. It will be created in the form of a slicer for you. Yes. Because you selected that, yeah, I want to create that in a form of a slicer. Correct? Now, from here, I can just remove this one. And as I have created a parameter over here, I'll put this. Now I want to put a field over here. Now what field should I put? The field that should I put is my product price. And I can remove this one. See, now I have a product price available. So let's say I click on this, it gets filtered with this. If I click on this, it gets filtered with that. In fact, in that case, if I want to select those from a vertical list to maybe a drop down or maybe between something, I can have a slicer as well. See, like this way. So that's a sort of a parameter that you can create, which is called as a dynamic parameter for you. Or if you want to create it directly from here, so you can go to the filter section also. From in the filter section, you can have that option. where you add a filter. Let's say I just add filter on this. So here you can have an advanced filtering. You can have the basic filtering. You can just go to advanced filtering, and from here you can start with or something of that sort, or anything. So that filter actually helps you with the top 10 filters and top L filters. So these are called as parameters. So basically the question is that whenever you create a parameter, so there are two parameters, which is basically like you filter on the data or filter on the visual or anything of that sort. And the second is, by the way, why what I created is a new parameter filter that is also called as what if filter. So what if filter basically helps you with the filters, then you create and you get it on your table view and all of that. So it depends on what type of view or what type of data you are creating for and what type of view you are looking for. So based on that, whatever you require or whatever you want to create on that front, you can basically like look for it and you can create your data and create your visuals on that or that. Okay. So that's how you basically create your data or create your data set and based on that. So that's how we work on our filters here in the Power BI. Then if you want to have a non-blank value in the first or a last non-blank value you want to search for, so you have a formula over there from which you can connect. I told you about the distinct feature. You can measure the distinct from any of the words or anything. Now there is